know, do we really need anything? Probably most of us don't. We sure do want things real bad. Well, what do you know? The soft plush situation. It's like a sneaker boot hybrid. Always play dress up. Such a sense of really unique personal style. Comfortable and casual, but also could look good going into a restaurant. One caught my eye.
This is future Katie coming in to say that.
Hello, welcome back to my channel. I am here today to share with you my final 5 finds for the month of December within my year of 5 finds. So at the beginning of almost every month recap video, I've shared learnings that I've had or just epiphanies or different things along the way. And I'm gonna get right into the 5 things, basically because I'm gonna have a lot of end of the year thoughts, which will probably go out in the beginning of the year. But in the month of January, I'm gonna be sharing with you my top finds out of the year, fashion-wise. What were the top 10 favorite things that I purchased? Let's get right into the final 5 finds that I have. In November, by the way, I only had 2 finds, which was such a big deal for me because it was the first time that I purchased below my allotted amount of 5 things for the month. And I was wondering where I was gonna end for this month, but I did end back at 5. So I did get 5 things, although being completely transparent, 3 of the things were items that I purchased and 2 were gifted. And that was broken out into my like fashion recap stats for the year. So these were all accounted into that total number of 60 total finds for the entire year. Okay, so the 5 finds for the month. The first thing was Black Friday. So I talked a little bit about in November's recap that I had one thing that I purchased on Black Friday, which was probably the only thing that I actually needed in the year of 2019, because I was talking about in that video how I've been confusing needs with wants, and how that Patagonia talk that I went to really sort of had a lot of epiphanies for me, and I really sort of realized, like, wow, okay, do I really even need anything that I purchased this year? And, you know, do we really need anything? Probably most of us don't. We sure do want things real bad. But I did need a pair of winter boots. So I knew a couple months ago that winter boots would be on my wish list. I did find one within Sorel. Yeah, so this is what I ended up purchasing. I am very excited about these. I think they were, I want to say they were originally like around $150. I got them on Black Friday for $105. So these are waterproof. I'm normally an 8 or an 8.5. After a lot of reviews said size up, I went to an 8.5, but these 8.5s fit really good. The first thing that I love, well, first I love the look. Obviously I bought it for the look. Sorel had so many great, attractive looking, different style boots on their website. It was really hard for me to narrow down. Leading up to Black Friday, I was like screenshotting so many different things and coming back to it to see like how did I feel now. And in terms of my year of 5 finds and trying to be thoughtful, I will tell you that I thought about this purchase, and I don't even know if this is like the best 100% thing that I could have gotten, but I thought about this purchase the most knowing that I needed waterproof boots because I live in Michigan, but also because I work at school during the recess hour at my kids' school, and so I'm just standing there in like frigid temperatures on top of snow, sometimes in snow. But this was actually a hard decision, and I think within my year of 5 finds, when you're trying to find like the most thoughtful, perfect thing, which I've done a couple of times this year, square toe sandal search, I can remember back in summer I bought a ton trying to find the perfect one. This felt a little overwhelming to me because, to be quite honest, I think I was trying to find something that was comfortable and casual, but also could look good going into a restaurant. And so I was like, do I want it to be all black? Do I want it to look sleek? Do I want it to look somewhat dressed up and not super casual? And I think I realized that I was trying to like force too many different situations into one boot. And sometimes we need different boots for different things. And so I just decided, let's be honest, most days I'm just looking for something casual and comfortable and warm and waterproof. And so that's what I went for. But I just wanted to note that sometimes like you put too many expectations onto one item and then it just gets difficult. So it's just kind of annoying. Okay, so there's the bottoms, by the way. The one thing that I really like about these the most is they are super lightweight. These are super lightweight and they're very sneakerish. The tread on the bottom, like it feels almost like a sneaker. It's like a sneaker boot hybrid. Very warm inside. I've worn them to recess. I've worn them like almost every single day since I've gotten them, and they're really nice. So yeah, that was the one thing that I absolutely was able to check off of my wish list. that was also a need, and I was able to get it on Black Friday with a deal, so that was such a good deal for me. Okay, the next thing is very fun and exciting because this was a blogger that I've been following for a very long time who came out with a little t-shirt line, and this fun graphic tee that I got from B Jones Style, Beth Jones, Always Play Dress Up. She is a blogger that I've been following for a long time. She is a thrifter at heart, which is why her motto for a long time has been always play dress up and just always have fun with your clothes, do different things. She has such an eclectic, neat sense of style. She's someone that you can tell just from the way that she combines different items together, different textures, crazy like patterns and everything, that she just is always having fun, and she always has such a sense of really unique personal style. She recently came out with these t-shirts. I think she has 3 t-shirts total. I loved sort of the collegiate vibe of the B. It seems like it could be like a high school t-shirt or something. I just thought that it was a fun way to end out the year. Okay, the next thing that I got was a really beautiful sweater. So I've only purchased right now, this is my second sweater that I bought for the season, and maybe even the third one that I've bought for the whole year. That's just a really big deal because I think in years past, I would maybe be on my 5th sweater for the season at this point. I've been calling this brand Amore Vert for 2 full years now, Amore Vert. I just recently realized that it's actually called Amore Vert, so that's great. They are an ethical, sustainable brand. I own 2 things from them previously. I've been looking at their sweaters for the season, and this one caught my eye.
Okay, I have to cut myself off because this is future Katie coming in to say that Amore Vert sweater was beautiful, but I had to return it because the little baubles that were on it, 4 of them fell off the second time I ever wore it. And I wasn't like at a raging party or anything. I was literally at Christmas Eve just sitting around a table, and one like literally just rolled off onto the table, and I was like, what the heck? And so I did return that sweater, but I wanted to show you the new sweater that I'm replacing it with. But before I tell you about this sweater, I want to tell you that if you've never shopped Amore Vert before, they are a beautiful quality. I stand by the things that I've purchased from them in the past that I absolutely love, and they have great customer service. They were like, this is a known issue, 100% bring it back. We don't even recommend replacing it. It doesn't change my opinion of them as a company, and only actually makes me appreciate how they handled it all the more. So I'm replacing it with this beautiful sweater from Veta Capsule. I'm not sure if it's Veta or Veta. I was going to include this originally in my January finds because for my year of less, I have 4 things that I can purchase in January. But then I realized like all my fashion stats that I did at the end of 2019 for my year of 5Finds would be off a little bit if I eliminated that sweater from December. So I decided that I'm replacing it with this because it's basically almost the same price point. This sweater is actually $159. That sweater from Amore Vert was almost $200, but I used a $50 coupon for that one. So they come about to the same price. It's a sweater to sweater, ethical brand. And so I'm able to keep like my pie chart, my stats, my cost per find, all that being like exactly precise, which I love. I love that I am able to look back at 2019 and have very accurate reporting for the year. I think it's pretty cool. And so I'm putting this sweater in December's slot, not so that I have another thing to purchase in January, but more like so that my 2019 is completely accurate, which I love. So this sweater, which I mentioned, is from Veta Capsule, and it's an ethical, sustainable company. So they use really great sustainable fabrics, all in great factories that are audited. And the concept of their brand is so interesting because it's all around this capsule idea where pieces should have multifunction. You should be able to wear things different ways. So a lot of their dresses like separate and can be worn as just a shirt or just a skirt. The shirts can be worn front to back. And this sweater in particular actually has a turtleneck. I'll show it. I posted it on stories recently, so I will post some of that video here. So it has a really thick fold over turtleneck that you can detach. It's attached with buttons. There's 6 buttons that you just, kind of attach it back on. And it's really easy to take it on and off. And I actually don't even feel the buttons on here. You would think you would, but I don't notice them. This sweater also has armholes or thumb holes, which is really kind of fun. I think this would look really cool, like popping out of a moto jacket. And then it has these side zips right here. So I have this in a medium, and this is like a big boxy cut of a sweater. And so I think size-wise, like I could have probably also had a large and been fine, but the medium has worked well for me. And this is made with GOTS organic cotton. And the difference between GOTS organic cotton and organic cotton, and I'm not an expert on this, but is basically organic cotton is way better than regular cotton because it's made sure that the environment, the soil, there's not as many chemicals going into anything that goes into the water supply that really endanger people in that environment. But GOTS organic cotton is seen through that not just the growing of the cotton itself is done ethically with people and the environment in mind, but I think it sees through the entire process of it being made, like from basically soil to completion of the garment. And so it's even that much better. So anyways, this is a beautiful garment. I'm so happy to have it. I've worn it a couple times already. I'll give you a close up of this right here, which is like a gunmetal, which is really kind of cool. Yeah, so I'm very happy to have replaced that other sweater with this one, which honestly is even more versatile. And so, yeah, that's my new official sweater for January/December.
Okay, and the two final things are both from the same brand, and they were both gifted to me from a new to me ethical company, Tom Kelly, which is the shirt that I'm wearing right now, and this oatmeal colored sweatshirt, which is like a dream of butter goodness. The sweatshirt, it's like so simple, so basic, but yet so comfortable and amazing. And I was so impressed because Megan, who is the owner of Tom Kelly, she is a one-woman ethical, sustainable clothing brand. I know that she has a 2-year-old, and I don't know how she is doing this. Because I imagine that like to own your own clothing brand that you design, that you work on, that your label is on, is in itself an extremely complicated, hard thing to do as a new mother. But then to add the sustainable, ethical component on top of it, which it has to be so many more hoops to jump through, so many more like, you know, check boxes to make. I just can't even imagine. And so I'm just so impressed by her, but also like the quality. Oh my gosh. So she reached out to me and was like, would you like to try this sweatshirt? And so I was just like, it's a sweatshirt, I'm not sure. But I was like, I'll give it a try. And I have to tell you, this sweatshirt right here is like one of those things. It's just so incredibly comfortable. So it's made out of 66% Tencel, 28% organic cotton, which I think it's important to note when someone uses something that's organic instead of just cotton. It's like so much more important, the organic piece of it. And then 6% spandex, which is very important in this garment because it's what gives it so much good like hand feel with the way that it like shapes to you. It's designed and made in the USA, and every little detail that she has like talks about the sustainability, and like the tag on this says that it's made from recycled plastic bottles. Like you can just tell like every single, like she's done her work on every single checkpoint, and it's amazing. So we were talking about sizing, and I just wasn't sure if I'm always in between a medium or a large with everything, just depending on the brand. And she was like, well, I know that you have the Dudley Stevens fleece. What do you have that in? And I was like, I have it in a large. So she was like, I think that you would like this in a large. So what I've liked about this, and I know I've been very open, by the way, about not liking a drop shoulder. This does have a drop shoulder, but I think I'm able to see past it because I am wearing this in like, I'm trying to be the most comfortable me I can be right now capacity, not in like this is the epitome of fashion capacity. This reminds me very much of 2 years ago when I bought the circle cardigan from Barefoot Dreams. I talked about how that became my favorite thing of the year. I loved that cardigan so much, but I'm like, this is not the epitome of fashion. This is not something that I'm going to wear outside of my house often, although I have worn this outside of my house, because that one I almost treat that like a robe. But this is just so comfortable. I don't even care if there's a drop shoulder. And the reason that I think it's so comfortable to the hand is because it has this it's just like this buttery, it's not fleece, but it's like the soft, plush situation, which is also really incredibly warm. But I also really like this spandex. You could just see with the way that it gives that like that's something that's gonna just like when you pull up the sleeves, it's gonna stay nicely, and it just feels so great. So I've worn it with leggings. It's long enough to wear with leggings, like if you're going out to the gym. Now I just work out at home, but sometimes I'm running around doing errands before or after that. So it's nice that it sort of covers the butt for that case. I also really like that it's long enough, both the sleeves and just like the garment, the body of the garment itself, that it's really nice to like tie around your waist, which is something that I do in like a workout capacity as well sometimes. And so I'll show that here. This is something that I've been rocking at home, which is joggers. That is so comfortable. Worn it outside as a layering piece with like a shirt underneath it, and it's just incredibly warm and just so cozy. So I'm really impressed with this one simple basic that I've liked so much. So the final thing is this plaid button down. So she has quite a few button downs on her site as well. I wasn't sure if I was gonna like it or not, just because when I did my big declutter a couple years ago, I got rid of quite a few flannels. I think I had 3, maybe even 4 flannels from Old Navy in my closet, and I was like, why do I have so many of these? And I just never wore them a lot. And this is actually not flannel. This is actually, let me look at the website for reference, 56% certified organic cotton and 44% tencel. So this is really soft and great, but it's not flannel. So it's just different in that way, maybe even a little bit more dressed up in that way. But I don't know if you can tell here, but this is navy and dark green. But I have noticed that this time of year for like a layering piece, I just wanted to show it to you today as it is just plain. I've actually like rolled the sleeves up here. It's nice to have something like this as a layering piece under sweaters, and I just, since I got rid of those, I am sort of missing that element. I do have a few button downs, but they are thinner button downs that are just like much more floppy, and they just don't look as great underneath a sweater. And so this looks great, you know, layered underneath the sweater. Yeah, so definitely been enjoying these pieces. Thank you so much, Megan, for sending these to me. I don't know if she's watching this, but these are beautiful pieces. This is definitely like the standout, just because the comfort and softness alone is like, whoo, so off the charts. Those are my 5 final things for the year. My year of 5 finds is done. Thank you so much for joining me for the year and learning along with me and being kind. I think being very transparent in this way and saying I don't really know what I'm doing, and sometimes like realizing why I still want to buy some fast fashion when it's thoughtful, and why, you know, I've bought polyester things throughout the year and been like, oh, I should have done that. And just being very transparent can feel, you know, it can feel like, well, what do you know? Or like, what are you doing? You're not doing everything right to the letter. And so I've been a little bit, not nervous about sharing that, because I'm just being honest that this is just like real open how I've been doing it. But everyone's been so kind and helpful and educating me right back and giving me helpful feedback as well, which has been really wonderful, and really just, I just appreciated the way on Instagram and YouTube everyone has embraced the process and embraced my way of sharing it, I guess, because I'm not an expert. I'm not trying to be an expert. I'm just trying to do better. When you know better, you do better, right? And so I've learned so much this year and will only continue to grow upon it. So thank you so much for joining me this year. I feel like this is like as if this is the last video I'm ever doing. It's not. It's just the last video in my proper year of 5 finds recap. I will see you again in another video real soon. Bye.